Alright guys, it's Mr. Lunch coming back at you with lesson 2.3c, multiply and divide rational numbers. So I know we've worked a little bit on what a rational number is. Now a rational number, if you guys don't remember, a rational number is a number that can be written as a fraction. So it can be written just like that, a over b, meaning we can put any number we want in for a, we can put any number we want in for b, but b cannot be 0. That's one thing it can't be. No, nobody. That was a good pun. That was a really good pun, but I guess not. So b cannot be 0. That's the only thing we can't have b be, because if b was 0, then we would have something that we can't divide. We can't divide by 0. So let's look at some of these guys. Will the product of 3/4 times 1/4 be bigger or smaller than each of the factors? So if we multiply 3/4 by 1/4, so we take a quarter of 3/4, is that going to be bigger or smaller than 3/4 and 1/4? Well, I'm going to say that's going to be smaller, because we're multiplying. We're taking a fraction of 3/4. And so if we multiply this out, just like when we multiplied fractions before, you take 3/4 and multiply by 1/4, well, we multiply straight across. So 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 4 is 16, and 3/16 is a lot less than 3/4, and it's slightly less than 1/4. 1/4 is 4/16. So let's think about it the other way. Will the quotient of 3/4 divided by 1/4 be bigger or smaller than each term? Now, I want you guys to think about that for a second. Multiplying got us something smaller, so maybe dividing will get us something bigger? What do you guys think? I don't know, man. It's all messed up in my head. Let's see. Let's see what happens. So let's find the quotient to check our explanation. So if we find the quotient, guys, remember we keep the 3/4 the same. We flip the 1/4, so it becomes 4 over 1, and we change the division to multiplication. And again, we multiply straight across. So we get 12 over 4, which is 3. Well, that's way bigger than 3/4, and it's way bigger than 1/4. That's weird. That's really, really weird. Let's double check this. Alright, so 3/4 times 2, will it be bigger or smaller? Well, if we multiply by a fraction, it got smaller, so I'm going to say that this is going to make it bigger. I'm just going to say that right now. So let's multiply. 3/4 times 2, well, we multiply straight across, and 3/4 times 2, well, it's 2 over 1. Multiply straight across, we get 6/4, which is the same as 3/2, which is bigger than 3/4. Weird. Let's check the quotient. If that got bigger, I'm going to say this is going to make it smaller. So then we keep the 3/4. We flip the 2, so instead of being 2 over 1, it's going to be 1 over 2. And we change the division to multiplication. So 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. Weird. 3/8 is smaller than 3/4. What's going on here? So if we multiply by a fraction, it gets smaller. But if we divide by a fraction, it gets bigger. That's weird. If we multiply by a regular number, by an integer, so a positive or negative number, we'll go by. Why do I keep writing the wrong thing? Oh, this one of those days. By an integer, it's going to go up. And if we divide by an integer, I really cannot write today, can I? Wow. Divide by an integer, our number goes down. That's weird. That's real weird. because that's multiplied by a fraction. It got smaller. Dividing by a fraction got bigger. Multiplying by a regular number got us bigger. And dividing by an integer got us smaller. So, I don't like, I'm going to change that 0.5 to something else. Let's change this 0.5 to a fraction. So 0.5, that's 5/10, which gets us 1/2. We did this one. What are we doing here? Nope, we didn't do this one. We did one like it. Oops, we did one like this. So if we're multiplying by a fraction, it's going to get bigger or smaller. It's going to get smaller. If we divide by a fraction, it's going to get bigger or smaller. It's going to get bigger, so it's going to increase here, and it's going to decrease here. So 3/4 times 1/2. Wait, we did that. 3/4 times a half is 3/8. Weird. We already did that one. And then this one's going to be 3/4 times 2. Hold on a second. We did that one. 2. Weird. So they're showing us the way this works. Dividing by a fraction gets us a bigger number, just like multiplying by that same integer gets us a bigger number. Multiplying by a fraction gets us a smaller number, just like dividing by an integer. That's one of the big points in this part right here, in that lesson, is that dividing by an integer is the same as multiplying by a fraction. Alright, so let's look at this page. We're going to estimate by rounding to the nearest integer. Now, I'm not going to do all of these, but I will do a few. So, this is a 3 1/3. That's approximately 3. 7/9 is approximately 1. So, this is going to be around 3. 3 1/3 divided by 7/9. Yeah. Yeah, that should work. Yep, round to the nearest integer. So this is approximately 6 times 2, which is going to get us roughly 12. And so you guys see how I'm doing this. We're taking it to the closest integer, so we're either rounding up or rounding down. Anything above a half, we round up. Anything below a half, we round down. So let's move down here. Let's multiply these and divide. Let's do these, and let's find the exact value with a calculator. So negative 0.875 divided by 2/7. So we're going to estimate the same way we did up in the top. So this is roughly 1 divided by 1. Really? Yeah, it's roughly negative 1 divided by 0, but you can't really divide by 0. So we're not going to do that one. We're going to do this one. I'm going to say this is roughly, I don't know, 2. I'm going to say it's roughly 2. Sure. I estimated. I did my best estimation. So now, pull out your handy-dandy little calculator. Most of you guys are going to use your phone. And we're going to go negative 0.875 divided by 2/7. And I just realized you can't use your phone for that, because your phone will not give you the correct answer. So 0.875 divided by 2/7 is 3.0625. 3.0625. Alright, so now 0.75 times 2/11 times 11/12. Oh, I'm gonna say, because this should be somewhere around 1/6, and this is 3/4. So I'm gonna say in the neighborhood of a quarter. Somewhere around 1/4. Now let's type this in and see what we actually get. when we type it into our calculator. It's 0.75 times 2 divided by 11 times 11 divided by 12. And that gets us an answer of 0.125, which is 1/8. So I was close. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, so let's divide these. We know 12 divided by 12, anything divided by itself is 1. 12 divided by 6, that is 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. Okay. 12 divided by half. Well, that's 12 over 1 times 2 over 1, which is 24. Weird. Alright, let's just keep going like we're dividing fractions. I'm going to go down to 1/6 so I can give myself some room. Actually, I'll go down to 1/4. So 12 over 1, we flip the 1/4, so it's 4 over 1, and we change the divide to multiply. Multiply straight across, and we're going to get 48. What? Alright, this can't be right. So we're going to go 12 over 1, flip the 1/12, so it becomes 12 over 1, change the divide to multiply. 12 times 12 is 144. What? We're dividing by a fraction. It shouldn't be getting that much bigger. So as we divide 12 by a bigger number, it goes to 0. But as we divide by smaller numbers, it's going towards infinity. Alright, so as we divide by smaller and smaller numbers, we move closer and closer and closer to infinity. Watch. 1/2 divided by 1/12. So you're gonna keep the 1/2 the same. You're gonna flip 1/12 to be 12 over 1, and you change divide to multiply. Multiply straight across, you're going to get 12 divided by 2, which is 6. Now, as you guys can see, we're moving closer and closer to infinity. So, something divided by 0 really is undefined. We call it undefined, but really it is infinite. We don't know exactly what it is, but we know that it is infinite in nature. If we take any number and divide it by 0, we are going to reach that undefined value, whatever we want to call infinity. But we call it undefined because there's no way to truly define it. We say infinity, but infinity is a concept. Infinity is not a number. It's a really cool concept, but we can't ever reach that specific number. So guys, that's it for this lesson. As always, hope you guys enjoy the math. Make sure you hit like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you are ringing the notification bell so you guys can see these videos as soon as they come out. That's it guys, we'll see you around.